The cycle hire scheme has been running in London since 2010, and there are two depots located in central London where maintenance is performed and the scheme monitored. We went down to the one located near King's Cross, where the operations manager showed us around.
We have two workshops, one here in Penton Street and one in Clapham, southwest London, and this is where bikes are brought in to be serviced, repaired and triaged to understand exactly what problem might be with those bikes.
Each bike is regularly serviced and maintained by a team of engineers.
Well, basically, when it comes off the street, it either comes in for a service or a red tag. Red tag is they press the red button because there's a fault with it. Like, for instance, this one's a red tag, obvious puncher. So the main reason it's coming is for this puncher. You can see the pin there actually. So we'll do the puncher on this, but at the same time we'll check the bike out thoroughly, make sure there's no other issues with it.
The bikes are serviced once a year, so even if a bike hasn't come in for a potential repair, we guarantee that every bike is seen for a full service once a year to make sure the bikes are still in condition, still safe to be used on the scheme, and generally make sure that there's no wear and tear that needs replacing.
There's also a control room based here, where the number of bikes at docking stations are monitored and the distribution of bikes to popular places are controlled.
So we have Monday to Friday commuter scheme in the mornings from the mainline train stations like Waterloo, like King's Cross. We have our commuters who jump on a bike and cycle into the heart of the scheme. So what we do the night before, we do a preemptive action where we fill the mainline stations with bikes and the outside of the scheme, and we also empty the inside of the scheme. Again, creating that availability for customers to cycle during the morning peak.
Back down in the maintenance area, David explained what happened when new sponsor Santander recently took over.
Part of the sponsorship agreement, we changed from Barclays to Santander. That involved changing every sticker on the bikes, that's 11,500 bikes. It involved changing all the stickering on the docking points and on the terminals. Also involved the changing over of the branding on all the vehicles we have as well. So we've gone from blue to red.
And it was only when he pointed it out to us did we realise that each bike has classic London icons on them. Not too dissimilar, we thought, from the Londonist logo. The maintenance depot is obviously full of spare parts, but it does feel like a treasure trove when you see pieces of cycle hire bikes lying all over the place. We even saw this poor vandalised bike that had been spray painted in many colours. And new equipment is tested here before being deployed in the field. Here are some docking stations that are being installed later this year. The bikes themselves are getting an upgrade too. After a successful trial, all cycle hire bikes are now being fitted with this, a blaze light, which projects a green image of a bike 6 metres in front of the cyclist, increasing awareness and visibility of the bike's presence. If you want to hire a bike, you can either do so using your bank card, become a member and get a key fob, or now use the recently launched app which lets you hire a bike straight from your mobile phone. There are just under 12,000 bikes in the cycle hire scheme and 770 docking stations, more than when the scheme was launched in 2010. Since then, it has expanded slightly east, a little to the west, and quite a lot to the south, and again recently was expanded eastwards again.
In January of this year, we launched into the Olympic Park, so we now have 8 stations at Olympic Park, and we're really excited about that expansion. We're also intensifying the scheme, so that means we're bringing in more docking stations and we're expanding docking stations with more docking points in the most popular areas. So in the centre where we need the usage, and we're hoping people to come, we're responding to that need and we're building bigger docking stations.
Bikes can be hired 24 hours a day for all 365 days per year and are a great way to get around London.